Hello everyone, this is my final discussion board, DB6. To a potential employer, I would describe intersection of interpersonal and organizational communication as an essential aspect of employee happiness in the workplace. When leaders have strong interpersonal skills such as compassion and empathy, their employees are more likely to respect them as leaders, as our course materials discuss. Organizational communication typically focuses on the roles people play as they fall into the social organizational ladder. This is how leaders derive their power. They're granted it by an institution that acts as a structure in which communication occurs that enhances the aspects of that structure. Intersecting these ideas, quality interpersonal skills lead to an organization that is not only fulfilling these expected roles, but also works to create affable solutions for all parties regardless of their standing in the organization. Over time, this creates employee satisfaction when interpersonal communication is fulfilling. As well as this, it leads employees to feel respected, and the more respected they feel, the more likely they are to engage with their expected social roles in the organization. This, in turn, is better for the organization, as role confusion can be extremely detrimental to workplace culture. Ethical communication centers around the golden rule of treating others the way you would want to be treated. This involves just treatment of all parties and general fairness overall. Knowledge of how to treat others with fairness and empathy can aid workplaces in creating inclusive spaces by creating an avenue for successful communication to all parties. For example, an aspect of ethical communication involves honesty and trust. For an employer to apply this to creating inclusivity may look like speaking up about minority rights and following through on this communication by ensuring that their hires include individuals from all demographics. This shows employers that the organization is honest with them with their values towards diversity and inclusion, and helps them to trust their organization. On an interpersonal level, ethical communication looks like practicing what you preach day to day, communicating with clarity and honesty that does not allow for miscommunication to occur. This is especially important on the interpersonal level because work cultures rely on honesty, and when this is interrupted, it becomes easy for some voices to be heard over others, harming the inclusive culture. My view of communication in the workplace is different from when I began this course. This course has helped me to understand leadership more succinctly. Previously, working off other course knowledge and my own personal experiences, I feel that I had a relatively expansive knowledge of leadership in the workplace, but coming to understand how this intersects with communication and role expectations for a leader helped me to create a more diverse understanding of leadership. More specifically, our classical theoretical materials on Weber's theory of bureaucracy, discussing the three types of authority, traditional, charismatic, and rational, helped me to contextualize my own role as a leader and that of previous and current leaders I follow, as well as assess different contexts where different leadership methods may be more effective. For example, in more formal corporate office settings, the structure of a traditional leader who plays, as Vail's theory discusses, top-down communicative role with the staff may be more beneficial to keep the structure. Inversely, less formal businesses may have more success with a charismatic leader, as they may be more respective in horizontal communications with the staff. Using this knowledge, I've been able to assess when it is most effective to use different leadership strategies we've discussed, and this has changed the way I communicate in the workplace a great deal. Have a great semester, everybody.